collision with purpose, in pursuit of purpose.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Spotlight, the home of unfiltered conversations. This is where real talk is what we do. I am none other than Donna Thompson.
And I am Dr. Laxley Stevenson, and together we're your moderators. So, Donna, what's up? What's going on?
Oh, what's not going on? It seemed like today came by so quickly.
What you mean, what's not going on? Are you saying that everything is going on?
Everything is going on.
Wow, that's awesome. But I tell you one thing, it's a good thing, right? That we have things going on. You know, the absence of nothing happening, what would life be like?
I don't know if I could really relate to that world. It would seem very strange for me, right? It would seem kind of strange for me because there's always like you're constantly on the move, constantly doing something, and I'm constantly learning. So it would be very strange for me not to have anything to do. But today did it came by pretty quickly.
What is the opposite of not learning, not growing?
Oh, geez, you're stagnant.
You're dying, right?
You're dying, or you're 6 feet under.
So we are to be so grateful and thankful, right? That we are learning. We're busy, and time is moving so fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so today's what, Monday? Another Monday?
Yeah, today's Monday.
They're on so fast, and guess what? The month is what?
Oh my gosh!
April is. It's in the rearview mirror, right?
Yes.
I love it. I love that we're here experiencing this thing, right? Mm-hmm. Time going by and we're getting things done. And most importantly, we are impacting good situations. We're impacting lives. We're making a difference in the world. A Collision with Purpose is out there doing big stuff. We're going to Kenya in September.
Yes, we are.
We're going back, I should say.
Yes, we are.
We're going back to Kenya, and in support of that Kenya initiative, we're having something tomorrow. We're having a meeting tomorrow because you're the vice president of Global Humanity Network, a nonprofit 501c3 organization. I'm the president of that organization. Tomorrow, we're having a meeting. We're going to be organizing our helping, what is it called? Our walkathon on our Helping Hands program. So you want to talk a little bit about that? But that's a big piece. Mm-hmm.
That's huge. So this year, I believe this will be our third year, if I'm not mistaken, doing our walkathon. And of course, our walkathon, it's to help where, to get donations and kind of, it's a fundraiser, right? A fundraiser to get donations where we are able to do the various initiatives that we have within GHN, as far as taking care of the communities, whatever that may be. If we have a school project initiative that we're having to do some infrastructure work, or if it's something where, you know, we're having to do like a food drive or anything of that nature, school supplies, things of that nature. Doing the walkathon definitely help us to raise funds to support these various initiatives. What is really nice about our walkathon is because our members are here, there, and everywhere, right? New York, Florida, California, Jamaica, Georgia. Our members, we're just everywhere. So what's nice about that is when we're doing our walkathon, we are able to have members of these various communities join us on that particular day, and we all just walk. You know, of course, the time may be a little bit different depending on where you are. You know, you may start a little bit earlier, you may start a little bit later, but it's really nice because we're able to walk together. We're able to share of our videos of each other, you know, in the different areas, walking, saying good morning, talking about the day. So it's, even though we are in different parts of the country or world, our walkathon is still very interactive with its members and the individuals who are walking with us for that particular day. So it's kind of, I enjoy doing that. It's very unique.
You know, we have our folks in New York. They're always doing it in a big way. The walkathon, they just make so much money for the organization and to support the initiative. So this time in Atlanta, we here need to step up. So I'm putting that out there. Tomorrow, that's something we're going to be pushing real hard. So that is the walkathon to support Global Humanity Network. That is the organization that Donna is the vice president. I'm the president, and we, you know, that's an awesome organization doing good things across the world. We're doing work in Bulgaria. We're doing work in France. We're doing work in Kenya. We're doing work in Jamaica, and we're looking to do work elsewhere. Wherever there are underserved individuals in underserved communities, we seek opportunities there to make a difference, and that is what JHN is all about. So I just wanted to, you know, touch on that a little bit and get it out there for those listening. No matter where you are, you have no reason, no excuse not to participate, because we're everywhere. All right, so that's out there. What else is happening in a Collision with Purpose world? What else you want to share? You know, we have a guest backstage. I don't want to words on name yet. You know, they can see it on the ticker actually. So Latoya, actually it's interesting. She's my namesake, Stevenson. Yeah. We have two Stevenson on the platform tonight, so that should be interesting. So, you know, she can't wait to get her on. She's doing some big stuff. So we'll talk more about her, and she will have an opportunity to introduce herself as well. So, a Collision with Purpose, what is happening?
So, like we talk about, of course, we know we have our colloquium that's coming up again in February 24th, 2025. So that is coming up. We're in our planning stages, and we already have our date set. We have our location set. It's going to be at Shiloh High School. So that's already you know, out. We're just working out all the little, you know, planning and prepping and all that good stuff so that we can have another great event, right? So that's coming up in A Collision with Purpose. Then, of course, we have several other books that we're still working on that's going to be published in the coming months. So that's going to be coming out again. And of course, we have, should I talk about the Academy?
Yes, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yes. So we're definitely, you know, like we said, we're all about our community, building up our community and serving our community, right? And we're definitely venturing into having our academy, you know, Collision with Purpose Academy. Of course, once again, you know, teaching various different skill sets, leadership, mentoring, you know, just different, you know, I think it's kind of like, you know, focusing on really teaching and training the whole person versus just one aspect, right? Because we want to make sure, you know, we're trying to have people going on the right path in life. So that's coming up, and that is exciting.
Right.
And
so,
we still finalized in our workshop.
Right. And the workshop will be offered on demand. It will be done online and in person. Our workshop, Unearthing Your Workshop, we're getting ready to launch it and put that out there. We're also looking at doing the Donna.
Oh.
Let's talk about that later. Let's talk about the Donna thing later. That's a big deal. Of course, we have daily insights going on. We have bridging generation. So we have so many things happening on this platform. And why are we doing these different things? Because we're building leaders. We're giving individuals an opportunity to just go out there and do what they do best, to excel, to grow, and not just to grow for personal reasons, but to grow because they can become better leaders in their community and to impact the community better. So everything we do here at the Collision with Purpose is not centered on self. It is centered on what is the greater good for all, right? So anything else you want to add before we take a quick break? Because I want to bring on our guest. I don't want to delay too long. Anything else you want to add?
I think I would like to say and tell our viewers, yes, it may seem as though we're a new company, right? Which we are. We're a new company, but I would definitely say if you're wanting to get involved and to do something great and you're not sure how to do certain things, how to get connected, get in touch with us. Come visit us, and we will definitely, if you have something you want to share to the community, a message for the community, we'll help you to get that message out, right? If you're wanting to work in the community and do certain things in the community, we'll definitely try to help you do those things in the community, because that's what we're all about, is empowering and building up our communities. So no one should say, I want to volunteer or I want to do something, but I don't know where to go or what to do. So if you're that person out there, connect with us. Like Dr. Stevenson said, we're affiliated with our Global Humanity Network nonprofit organization. We have a Collision with Purpose, or our business sector. So there is so many different facets of what we're doing. So we can get you into the right place. Share.
Yeah, I want to touch on our mentoring program, GHN Mentoring Matters program. We are looking for individuals to become mentors. And if you're that person, reach out to us. You can be anywhere in the United States to be a mentor. So we're doing a pilot program. In terms of who we're mentoring. These individuals, the mentees, they are located in the greater Atlanta area, but mentors can come from anywhere. So we're kicking that off. We have matched mentors and mentees. So we're about to roll that program out. And once that is up and running, we're going to take that to Jamaica and wherever we need to take it. Right? So mentoring is a big deal. All of us, the three of us in this platform, including our guests, backstage, we've all been the recipient or the beneficiary of mentoring of some sort. None of us achieve anything in life unless we had someone somewhere, guiding us, supporting us, mentoring us in whatever way, So mentoring is a big, 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 big deal. So we want to keep that out there. If you believe you have it in you, and I believe you do, if you're watching us on this platform, there's something you have out there that you can offer. Something. And if you have a child that needs some kind of mentoring, some sort of mentoring, also reach out to us. It's not a one, just you give, you also receive. As a parent, you also receive. As a student, you also receive. So if there is a situation in your family and you need, of someone that needs some kind of mentoring, reach out to us as well. That's why we're here, right? So absolutely. Should we take a break now so we can bring on our guest?
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited.
You're excited? So am I. So let's play this video. It's about 3 minutes long. It's a powerful video. It's a good way to introduce our guests. All the guests that we have bring onto this program, they're somewhere operating in their purpose. So this is the ideal song to bring them on. All right.
decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose.
All right. It is my decision to be in alignment with my purpose. What a powerful song. And what a way to bring on our special guest tonight. So, Donna, please do the honors.
Okay, sure. So I'm not going to tell you everything about her, of course, because I have to leave stuff for her to talk about herself. However, our guest this evening is none other than Miss Latoya Stephenson-Smith. In Stephenson-Smith. And she is Jamaican descent. Of course, her mom is from Jamaica, and she holds her DNP in the healthcare systems leadership. And she is also a clinical training consultant in healthcare. So she knows a lot about healthcare. So she's going to tell us a whole lot about healthcare, right? And plus, she has over 13 years of professional experience in the leadership in healthcare and disease management, she's going to have a lot of information to share with us. And she is also an author. She is an author. She has a new children's book that is out, and you will not believe the name. Little London.
Ooh.
Hint, hint.
My hometown in Jamaica. All right.
Little London and Brown series. Yes, I can't wait to hear all about that. And she is also a registered yoga teacher. Oh my gosh.
I thought you said you was going to tell everything. You're telling a lot.
Oh, I did, right? Oh my gosh. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard.
It's so hard. Okay.
Yes, hard, right? So
Let's give her the big drum roll and bring her on. Oh, there she is.
You're on mute.
Unmute. Up to that big
Hello, hello. Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for that introduction. It's a pleasure to be with both of you today. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. You said 13 years experience. And when I look at her, I'm saying 13 years experience.
I know, right?
And she looks so.
I started
Looks
young.
like she's still in college, right? Looks so young, but so that's awesome. That means she's using what she know about healthcare to take care of herself as well, right?
Yeah. I started pretty young, so I actually was 22. I'm not 22 right now, if you thought I was. But I actually started my nursing profession at the age of 22, so that should give you a hint.
Yeah. That's awesome. So good to have you on.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Why don't you share? Donna said some things about you. Well, from your perspective, why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So, hi everyone. Again, my name is Latoya Stephenson-Smith. 2 last names, and a little bit about me. Professionally, I'm a DNP. So I'm a clinical educator. I hold my doctorate in health administration. And it's also a clinical degree as well. I'm an RN, so I have my registered nurse license. I'm also an MBA graduate. I am a clinical educator, adjunct professor. And it is true. I just took up yoga. So I've added that to my regimen. Something I've always kind of wanted to do regarding stress management and also teaching others. So the practice has been fun. And so I'm learning yin yoga and restorative, and hopefully I can bring that practice out to the community. And what else? So I am actually a brand new children's author as well. So I do have my series of books that I just started, Little London. And yes, that is true. I did read a little bit about you, Dr. Laxley. And I said, this is too much of a coincidence. But you're right. Little London, that is the name, Little London Anne. So there's a series of books that I have, and it's actually inspired, of course, by the Caribbean culture, Jamaica, of course, and my upbringing in Miami. So I was born in Miami, even though I'm of Jamaican descent. And my mother, her side, they're from Kingston, Jamaica, believe it or not. And from all over, close by Kingston. But yeah, I was born Miami native, a lot of Caribbean friends in that area. So, still felt very close to that Caribbean culture. And currently I'm in Atlanta. So I've been here about 8 years now.
8 years. Awesome. Wow, you're doing quite a lot. How do you decide which area to focus?
That is such a good question. What I realize is you can have so many different dreams and goals that you want to accomplish, but you can never do everything at once. So I think that's a little bit of a misconception. Sometimes we see where people end up, and we kind of feel like they were able to kind of carry the ball for all of these things the whole time. But what I realized is you have a season for everything. It's a hard lesson, especially when you have big dreams and big goals. But, if you're only one person, even if you have a support system, you have to choose and you have to pick and decide what you're going to focus on at that moment in your season. And so I spent a lot of time, of course, focused on my education. Like I mentioned earlier, I received my RN license very young. I was 22 years old with a bachelor's degree. And, for me, that was pretty significant, pretty much being first generation to go to college in my immediate family, and definitely the youngest to achieve something so big, at 22 years old. So I spent a lot of time focused on the education aspect of it. But I'm at the point in life, of course, I said, okay, well, I love education and academia. However, I've also always been interested in entrepreneurship and more creative endeavors. And I think now is that season. So I focused last season and made it to the point where now I can switch my focus a little bit.
Wow. early start in life, and you're doing it, and you continue to do it. And education is so important, right? And of course, you recognize that, and that's why you extended so much of your time and prioritize education. And what a great message you're sending for young folks out there, listen, and parents as well. And I think that's the power in what you're all about. Education. That's the way out, isn't it, Donna?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, education is the way out. Donna, what do you have? And I know you have so many questions for my namesake.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, something I definitely like the pointer that you gave, where you said sometimes, like reading someone's bio, and you see a slew of things that they've accomplished, and sometimes we have the misconception like this happened all at once, and not realizing that all these accomplishments was over a period of time, right? So it was very good to definitely point that out, and to realize that there is a season and a time for everything, so that you can be fulfilled in doing that. For sure. I guess I would like to ask you, as far as, because I see that you're in the healthcare, is that you're in the healthcare sector?
Yes.
Right. And in your tenure being in the healthcare, especially, we've always heard about disparities that happen in healthcare, where you have different level of patient care could be based on finances, it could be based on gender, it could be based on race. Have you experienced anything like that in your years in the healthcare system? Is that something that is a preconceived notion in the world that this happens?
That is a great question. And it's true. So those observations are very true. It's interesting that you asked me, because my specialty, I have done direct patient care. So I actually started out working with pediatrics. So babies, very young. And I started working with the Medicaid population. So with that particular population, a lot of those disparities that you talk about, those challenges when it comes to financial challenges, or even eligibility challenges, right? Continuing to make sure that they have their services. That has always been an issue to solve. So after working with children, that population for about 2 years, I actually went on to work in case management. So when it comes to disparities, that is what you do as a clinical nurse case manager. So the nice thing about that is that, you don't just focus on the individual medical issues that they have. You actually focus on the social issues, you focus on their financial issues. And kind of as a case manager, when you're a nurse in that type of position, you are a little bit of a liaison, and you assess their clinical status, but you also assess some of those other challenges that they may have to receive quality healthcare. And what you do is, you're always doing your nursing and clinical assessment and your judgment, but you're also offering up referrals to other specialists to kind of help close that gap. So, you may find out that they need financial services, so you'll do a referral to a social worker. Maybe there's a need for a dietitian. If it's someone with diabetes or kidney disease, you'll identify that as a nurse, and then you'll do the appropriate referral. So really, I've always kind of been in more of that holistic community health type of field within my position as a nurse. So those are not misconceptions. It's very real. And we've been trying to tackle that in healthcare, especially the U.S. healthcare system, for a very, very long time. And there's still more to do. There's a lot to do. Yeah.
So much more to do, right? So you're an international traveler, I see. What's that all about? You try? Where have you been traveling?
I try. So funny story. This is interesting, but I actually, I'll tell you, I kind of grew up with one of those people, if you've ever come across, that has like anxiety. So I grew
Mhm.
up being that type of person young. I used to have so much social anxiety and general anxiety about this and that. I think that was just based on my upbringing and what I saw. And, so I always had a level of fear. I've always had a big imagination and big goals, but I also had a level of fear, unfortunately, that I kind of adopted, I think, from just my upbringing. And so I've always wanted to travel internationally, go to school in different places in the world. I thought I was going to join like the Peace Corps. And I really was like, this is it. This is what I'm meant to do. Just travel all over the world. And this is going to be my life. So of course, life never works out exactly like you think it's going to work out. So, it's funny because again, I started working really, really young, 20 something years old. And I was working full time from, before I graduated nursing school. And then as soon as I received my first position, I never stopped. So I found myself in my mid-20s at a place to where, I was like, I feel accomplished. I achieved my bachelor's degree. I have my license. I'm working. That's great, right? That was the goal. But I found myself realizing that, what happened to the dreams, right, that I had before I entered into school, what happened to those other goals that I wanted to accomplish. There's a lot more to life, right, than just our careers. And there's a way to kind of balance everything and incorporate all of the things that you want to do within your life. So mid-20s, I said, you know what? I'm kind of tired of not doing something because maybe I don't have the time. I don't feel I have the budget. Maybe I don't have anyone to go with. And I ran across a Facebook group, and I always tell people this. And it's actually a business. I think they're a pretty huge business. I think they've been recognized by a Forbes group as well. But it's called Sisters Traveling Solo.
Mhm.
So I don't know if have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
watched some of their stuff.
Yeah, I have not.
Yes. Oh, well, you have to.
That will check it out.
You have not, you have to. And I believe, the creator of this company, she's a woman like me. And yeah, I think her story was that she left the corporate world and she formed her own company, full-time company, basically inspiring other women, and especially women of color, to travel, whether you travel solo, whether you travel with the group, because they also do group travel too. But the whole point is just to get out and explore and stop being afraid. Just get out there. And so it inspired me. And mid-20s, I took my first solo travel. I went to Dominican Republic. And I was terrified because anytime you do something new, especially alone, it's nerve-wracking. But what was exhilarating about it is just being able to get there. You plan everything, you plan it out. So I plan excursions and different things. So when I get there, I actually am with the group. And just after that first experience, it's so crazy. My whole demeanor changed. I said, you know what? I think I can do this. I was like, I think I like this, because you meet people along the way. And then you start to realize, other people travel solo or people travel with groups. But whenever you get to your destination, you'll always run into the right people, regardless. So best decision I probably have made in my life, outside of going to school, and obtaining the degrees. It's just going out, exploring, traveling, and not being afraid. So, up to date, I would say that I've gone to mainly Europe. I haven't ventured out too far. But on my list was Milan, Paris. So my first European trip was in Paris. So that was wonderful. I've been to Milan, Italy. I have been to Barcelona, Spain. I have been to, London. So I went to London Christmas that just passed, which was spectacular. And believe it or not, like last month, my birthday month is in March. And so I actually went to Portugal. And so I just came back from Portugal around the 8th of March. And so yeah, just a few places. So I definitely plan to go out to Singapore, hopefully. And of course, Cape Town is on my list. So more to come.
Hmm. And I know soon you'll get an invitation from Donna to go to Kenya. I know she's about to ask you and invite you. I can tell. I see it coming. So
I accept. I love to travel.
And what a you traveling is great, right? And because what a way to enhance your education, right?
It is.
Learning and to develop, because the classroom is great, academic stuff is great, but then when you balance that off and you're out there in the world exploring and learning about different people, what a great way to really bring it all together.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Donna, why don't you share your experience when we went to Kenya last year? I think you should have shared the experience. What did it feel like? Yeah, what did it feel like?
Oh my goodness. It's a little difficult to really explain, to put in words, at least for myself, right? The feeling. Like I'll tell everyone, I think what was one of the most powerful moments for me, besides, the long trip and all that good stuff and changing planes and all that good stuff. But I think one of the most, it was powerful. It was a profound moment for myself, was arriving into Kenya. And when we were greeted, it was not hello, how are you? It was welcome home. And for me, those two words changed like everything that I probably thought I had an expectation of, or even, to be honest with you, even if something bad had happened after that moment, it probably would not have really affected me, like, because just those words saying welcome home, like, immediately made me feel like I was home. This is where I belong. This is where I'm supposed to be. So with that, everything else was just, the entire trip was awesome. The people that we met, they were awesome. The work that we did, it's life-changing, at least for myself. The work that we did there with serving the children and the community, and just the array of love and affection that we received, and really how I mean, and everyone would just tell you, welcome, we're happy you're here. And the way how they just served us and everything, it was really awesome. And I would tell anyone, you need to set your feet on the continent of Africa.
Motherland.
You have to set your feet on the continent of Africa, whether it's Kenya, it's Ghana, wherever it is, because wherever you go, once you get there, you're going to come back a different person. It's really going to impact you.
I listened to Latoya. She talk about traveling and the excitement that is coming through the screen, and I just had to ask you that question, Donna, because I know that's what you experienced as well, and that's what I experienced when I went to Kenya. The thing is, they will say welcome until you leave. Welcome over, and it's actually Asante, Kenya. Welcome to Kenya, right, in Swahili. So so anyway, we're going back to Kenya. If you're out there listening, we're going back to Kenya in September. We're going for how many days?
I believe it's 8-9 days. We're leaving here the 12th, get there the 13th, and then we're coming back on the 21st, I believe. Right. We leave there on the 20th and get back here the 21st.
21st, and we're going there to serve. We're going there to serve. And I saw a video today of an area in Kenya. They're having some serious challenges right now with flooding. Major challenges with flooding. An area named Lunga Lunga. As an area packed with orphans, right? And I saw the video today. I wish I had brought it on here to play it, and that was just a sight. And I noticed you asked, is there a way out for them?
Yeah,
they're trapped, and a terrible area to be in the first instance.
Yeah, and we know what that era is like, right? And
Mhm.
looking at that water, it's like, okay, can they get out of there?
I credit that area to the reason why I personally is going back to Kenya. Because when I first went to Lunga Lunga and I saw these young kids, these orphans, and we've seen separation and all that stuff, devastation and all that stuff before with people, but for whatever reason, that was so touching. And it got us, we're back, right? And ever since we left Kenya, in fact, I should say that, we have these books for sale. A Collision with Purpose, In Pursuit of Purpose. We have Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Personal Growth. And for every book that you purchase on our website, $5 will go towards the A Collision with Purpose Scholarship Fund. And more likely than not, that will be earmarked for a scholarship towards a scholarship in Kenya. So we encourage you to purchase our books. And I think this is a good time now to segment into Latoya's book, because there's something about her book that really resonates with me. It says Little London. So I want to know more about any book that's going to talk about Little London. But I was born there. That's my home.
Yes. Yeah, I have it with me here. And yeah, I have to find out more here because this is not a coincidence, is it? So we'll see. But yeah, this is something I've actually been working on for a while. So it's been years. It's called Little London and Brown. And hopefully you can see it here. So, and you probably can notice from the colors, this is really a Caribbean themed book. So it's just something that I was inspired to do. When I was younger, I and probably as being an only child, you just do a little bit of everything. So I was just very creative. I used to write poetry and different things, and I've always wanted to do a book. And I was inspired to do a children's book to just encourage literacy and also diverse reading. Don't want to get into it, but we know at this time, right, we're having a little bit of pushback when it comes to diversity, and then also diversity within literature and especially within schools as well. So I can go on and on about that. However, I was really inspired to create this book. A lot of it came from, my own ancestry. So of course, being Jamaican descent, but also growing up in Miami around a big Caribbean population. So not just Jamaicans, but also Haitians. If anyone knows South Florida, you have Cubans and very colorful, festive and, a mix of different cultures and foods and music. And that was my inspiration for Little London and Brown. And so the story really takes you to really have little kids just kind of be introduced to the Caribbean, basically. Or, if it's a child that is of Caribbean descent, to be able to see themselves in an actual children's book. So the nice thing about it, London and her family, they are on the water because we love that. And, the wonderful thing I found out when actually researching my ancestry is that my great grandmother, which is no longer with us on my mom's side, I always heard that she was from a Spanish island. However, this woman, when I say the only thing I remember about her is her thick Jamaican accent. So her patois was, I could not understand. So something I couldn't understand, her as well as my great grandfather didn't understand a thing they were saying. I used to go around when I was very young, so never really got a chance to really know them before she passed. But when she did, I have a great aunt that shares my birthday, believe it or not. We have the same birthday, but she's in her 70s. And she's on my Jamaican side. And one day, she just decided to tell me a story and gave me a little bit of information about my great grandmother. And I said, you know what? I'm on ancestry.com. Let me see if I can find anything about her. And lo and behold, I found her birth certificate, which was from Cuba, actually. So what I did for this book, I actually incorporated that. So I have a grandmother in the book that's from Cuba, Camagüey, specifically. And, it's just nice for anyone who doesn't know. the history, especially between Jamaica and Cuba. And, you get to kind of see how all of that relates together within this book.
Are you familiar with the name Teofilo Stevenson, the great Cuban boxer?
Oh, no, I've never heard of that. No, never heard the name.
Olympic heavyweight champion.
Oh.
Check it out. When you get a chance. I know you will. I
will. I will.
Yeah, big time.
Oh.
Spelled the right way as well, Stevenson.
That would help. Yeah. Oh, it's spelled with a P-8. Okay.
It's spelled the right as your name is spelled. So check out I think it's Teofilo Stevenson.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I will check it out.
Olympic champion. He won the heavyweight championship about 3 times. They wouldn't go professionals, but he was from Cuba.
Right. Yeah. I never knew that history.
Yeah. Now you see, we'll add that to the list, and considering where your grandmother is coming from, there's some connection, right?
There's connection there. Yes.
Connectivity there. Yes.
Yeah.
So your book. How can our listeners access your book, purchase your book?
Sure. So the book is actually available on bookbaby.com. So you can actually have the book printed, and you will receive the printed copy from BookBaby. So it's this exact book here. But I also, because accessibility is really important, I also created a digital copy. So if you want to get the digital copy, that's available on Amazon.com. So again, you can go to Little London Anne Brown, and you'll find that series. And I'm also on Instagram at Little London Anne Children's Books. So Little London Anne Children's Books. And eventually you will be able to see the audio as well. I'm going to be publishing the audio soon on Amazon.com as well.
Awesome. Is it possible to post the link for your books in the chat?
Sure, definitely.
I think we should do that. That would be helpful. Yeah, great story there. And check out our heavyweight champion Olympic heavyweight champion from Cuba, Teo Stevenson.
I will.
Make sure you check him out. We find that from Jamaica in my family, not the Stevenson side, but the other side, one of the other side, I should say. Panama, Cuba is what it's all about for us. Panama and Cuba. For good reasons, right? Panama, we started in Panama with the Panama Canal, and when that was over, they went to Cuba. That's how all those English names from the Caribbean ended up in Cuba, right? They went to work on the canal, and then from there they went to Cuba, because Cuba was the spot, right? That was a hot spot. That's where everything happened. Pre-Fidel, that was a party ground, and that's where all the good things were happening in terms of, people having good life, good times. As it was a playground on the Batista, I guess. So yeah, Donna, I think we should take another break.
Okay, sure. We could go ahead and take a break.
And we're gonna stay on screen with this break because I want to play a video here. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about your new program and give Latoya an opportunity to ask you questions about that program. How about that? So we'll stay on screen while we play this video.
Last year, I had the opportunity to travel on a mission trip to Africa, specifically the country of Kenya. If it was not for your donations and you supporting me on this trip, the many initiatives that was successful would not have been possible. So for that, I greatly appreciate you and I thank you very much. However, from my experience on this trip, which was life-changing for me, in such a way that a charge was placed on my heart to go back to Kenya. My experience brought me face to face with the everyday challenges that people face. Families not being able to feed their children, not send their children to school, and not being able to supply just basic hygiene needs for their children. Yes, the needs are vastly great and challenging, and it's difficult to meet them all. But with that said, I am returning to Kenya once again in September of 2024 with Hope and Destiny Foundation in Kenya. We will be having our Reaching Out, Reaching Up community outreach initiative. This initiative, once again, it will help with providing sanitary towels for the girls, school supplies, and even a clothing drive, along with food items for the community. And once again, I am asking you to help us to achieve our goals. This year, Reaching Out, Reaching Up will allow us to begin working on building and creating sustainable opportunities for the communities. So with that, I leave you with one act of kindness may change a person's life forever. One life, one village, one town, one county, one country at a time. We will help the less fortunate to help themselves. And so once again, I thank you for your support.
All right. Thank you for that, Donna.
Oh, you're welcome.
Could hear the passion, the sincerity, the commitment in your voice.
It's almost a little bit difficult not to be emotional or get emotional, right?
Mm.
Especially when you know the experience.
Yes. Yes. Well said. All right. So we're not going to get emotional now. Let's get back to the real time.
Not that kind of show.
That's that kind of show. It is not that kind of show, right? So let's, I want to talk to Latoya about something. She's talked to us about your yoga stuff. There's another area you're ventured into.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. So I have decided to add yoga amongst the other things that I do. And part of that was actually inspired. Like I mentioned to you, younger, I dealt with anxiety. A lot of people have, it's something, thankfully nowadays, especially after COVID, I think we all understand that we're human. There's a lot of things that are part of the human condition. It's completely normal. And, I'm really happy that we reached a place to where we can feel comfortable, expressing the different challenges that we have and how we cope. So for me, that's really my personal story, kind of growing up with types of anxiety and social anxiety. I use yoga as really a way to de-stress. So a way to lower stress, a way to be present, be in the now. Anyone with anxiety probably understands sometimes you have that kind of voice that doesn't really stop, when you're in the midst of worry, right? So especially if you grow up in an environment where there's a lot of worry, right? You can always have that voice in your head that says, there's something you need to fear, or it can just be kind of an overwhelming feeling. So what yoga does, yoga centers you. Yoga allows you to, again, stay in the now. It really allows you to acknowledge your emotions because you have to be aware. So it's a way of, giving yourself the gift of self-awareness. But as well, you can be present with others in that space and sharing that as well. So it's something I've done on and off over the years. But again, getting a little bit older. I may not look like it, thankfully, but I'm getting a little older. I work from home and I do a lot of sitting these days. And so I really wanted something that could allow myself to get out, be with community, be with others, get active, but also find something where I can give back and I can, get out there and help other people that are dealing with, anxiety or stress, or just, people that just need community and wellness. We all need that. And I decided to just add that to my list. And so the last 6 months, I've been working on my 200-hour yoga teacher training, and actually just graduated in March. So just in time for my birthday. So I finished that. And then I wanted to really focus in on a yin yoga, and then also something called restorative yoga. Some people have heard of it. Some people may not have, but the nice thing about yin and also restorative, it really does focus on stress management, being present. Restorative yoga really focuses on kind of a meditative state in a way. So you kind of learn to be still. You still have poses that you practice, but it's really about being still and self-aware. And again, comfortable with quiet and comfortable with just being. That's what I love so much about yoga. With yoga, there's really no pressure for anything, to be honest. It's not about the poses, it really isn't. It's really about just being who you are. And that's good enough. And so I love the message of that so much, to where I said, this would be a great practice to spread to others. And I think sometimes to people of color, sometimes when you're thinking of an exercise to do, yoga does not always come up. Some think it's too challenging, some think it's too boring. There's so many different reasons. I'm a part of a yoga group, and I know with some common themes that have come up is yoga and its clash with religion as well, which is something new. So I've been hearing a lot about that. Young women of color like myself that are struggling, right? Because they're religious, they have their belief system, they have their loved ones and their churches that they go to in their community that they love and adore, but they also love yoga. So I've been seeing that as a common thread in those young women trying to figure out, how do I consolidate the two? So is it about convincing others, or is it about just spreading the word? And again, if you find that this is what suits you, then do it. And if not, but it's about educating others on what it is, so they can understand that it is accessible to you. Yoga is something that people of color can do, and you can have fun doing it. And it doesn't really clash with religion. It's its own practice in itself. And really, at the very end of things, it's all about, again, being still, appreciating who you are, accepting who you are, community, loving others. And that's really it at the foundation of it. So, hopefully I'll start training in the next few months. And I kind of plan to do community classes maybe once a month, once I'm done with the courses that I'm taking.
And so you've completed your 200 hours. Interestingly, my niece, she's now teaching yoga.
Oh.
And I'm also hearing the other side of the argument about the religious piece. I'm hearing that in my very home, in my house. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I know that's a conversation that's out there. It's out there, right?
It is.
Yeah, the religious piece, and there's a conflict, right? It's what yoga can do, but when you're into this religious thing, then that's where the conflict is for some people, at least. And yeah, here we go again, right? Here we go again. Here we go again. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you'll be doing the community teaching, the community classes.
Hopefully soon. I have a busy schedule, but I plan to fit it in between grading papers. Because right now, being an adjunct, that takes up a lot of my time. But yes, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's another new thing. I saw you made an announcement on Facebook that you're now an adjunct professor. You're teaching.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Sure. Sure. I feel very Jamaican now. They used to make jokes. I don't know. And okay.
Oh my goodness, here goes the Jamaican side coming out.
No, it's coming out in all her jobs.
Yes, in all her multiple jobs.
So now that we're talking about all of this, I said, okay, this is the Jamaican in me for sure. So I learned hard work from my mom. I'm not going to lie. She's the hardest working woman that I know in my life. Yeah. And so I've actually been teaching as an adjunct it's been about 1.5 years. So part of the reason that I decided to go for my DNP is because I was interested in teaching. I've always been interested in public health and community health. So I actually thought I would achieve an MPH, so Master's in Public Health. But being in healthcare for such a long time, I realized that there was a lot of opportunity within having an administrative and having a nursing background coupled with public health courses. And I did the doctorate. Again, it was not my initial intention, but as God had it, I don't know. I did my MBA, took 3 years, and I thought I couldn't do any more school after that. And as soon as I got the certificate, for some reason, I got a second wind, and I said, you know what, why stop now? So I went straight from the 3-year MBA, working full time now. And I hopped into a bridge program for the DNP. So that instead of 2 years, it was a 3-year program to bridge over because my master's was in business, versus healthcare. So, I started looking at all the opportunity, and I said, you know what, I can teach, I can consult. There was so much that I can do with that in many different levels. And as soon as I graduated, actually 2022 in June, and it took me a few months, but I received my first adjunct position, actually going out teaching clinicals, nursing fundamentals. So very basic, your first clinical when you're excited as a nurse, nothing, you go out and you take vital signs, things like that. So I did that clinical, and I was very grateful to get that position with Mercer University, which is in Atlanta. And I was living in Kennesaw at the time. So I went out to Wellstar, Kennesaw. So it was like the perfect scenario. The job was available. I didn't have the experience. I applied, and they gave me a chance. And I went out and took the students out. It was a lot of fun to be able to do that. And eventually I knew I wanted to teach online and have more flexibility. So I kept applying to different positions. Long story short, this is my first, I think my fourth or fifth adjunct position at this point. And so I really wanted to gain experience teaching different types of classes. That's important. So I went from nursing. I also work as an adjunct to teach health administration for bachelor students. I've taught a master's of public health course with a school that actually partners with another university, Saudi Electric or Electronic, one of those universities, SEU, and it's actually stationed in the Middle East. So I worked with the company that partnered with a university, and basically we would teach the students, and they're located remotely in the Middle East. And I taught a public health course a few semesters ago. And so currently I just received an offer to teach with Chamberlain University, which is my alma mater. So very excited about that. And I'll be teaching a population health and epidemiology course coming up. So very, very excited about that.
You're grading papers.
Grading those papers. Grading papers.
That's awesome. So you're doing so much, a lot. What is the end goal?
Oh, good question. Great question. You know what, to be honest, and I've had to think about this, but because I think being younger, you kind of, I don't know, I think it was a little bit short-sighted, and I'm like, the end goal is the degree, right? You get the degree and everything just works itself out after that. I mean, that was literally my thought. I didn't know it was so much strategy that you had to put into where you actually want to go, and you have to be very specific. And another thing I learned is that goals change. So what my end goal was years ago has changed. And at this point, being aligned with yoga right now in my life, it's about balance. It's all about balance. So I thought I would maybe climb the corporate ladder, but I figured out a long time ago that's just not really my goal personally. I love freedom. I love flexibility. As you can see, I love variety. And I just love having different ways to show my skills and build and grow. And I just want to kind of reach my potential, whatever that is, in different areas. And so for me, again, it's about achieving balance. So it's making sure, I have a career that I love and, that's financially stable and financially rewarding. I want to make sure I'm, traveling to the places that I want to see, making sure that I take care of my health, making sure that I'm building relationships that are, significant and mutual, positive relationships. And it's all about balance. And that really can mean anything. It can change from year to year, right? But for me, that's become the most important thing. You never want to, and I hate to say it because some people just have a lot of energy. And I hate to say, you never should just keep running and, but some people can keep running. There are those people that just, I don't know how, but they just keep going like the Energizer bunny. But for me, with my persona, that's just not me. And I realized, what is life about? Life is about, you have to enjoy the moments. It's not about they talk about that dangling carrot. It's not about that. It's not about, continuously trying to achieve. You have to be fulfilled. And sometimes that means being still for the season and really enjoying what season you're in for the moment. So yes, we have seasons where we are that Energizer bunny and we are looking at that dangling carrot, right? Because it's appealing. However, when you get that, you have to sometimes take a moment, stop, reassess, and make sure you understand the purpose. What was the purpose? Now that you've done that achievement, that additional achievement, what now? Do you just keep running? Do you create another goal? Do you enjoy the moment? You have to really understand what is the purpose and what I'm doing. And so that's really where I'm at now. It's doing all of these different things, right? But trying to find the balance in it, and seeing, what fulfills my heart basically at this point.
Right. So clearly you have invested significant amount of time to achieve. And now you have also established at least 200 hours to find balance. So you understand the tipping scale or whatever you want to call it. You're out there doing it, and then you're over here now trying to balance it. So how do you manage that? Is what how do you know when to pull back here and or to go there? Because I suspect that you're not done. You're not done pursuing. You're still in pursuit. There's more for you to achieve, right? But yet there's this other thing talking at you, the balance part, to pull you back, to put you in check, in a good way. So how do you manage that?
So I laughed when you said that because you've observed, as much as I desperately want to feel like I'm achieving balance. It's true. Like sometimes you have a tug, and sometimes you don't really know why. But it's like, yes, I understand the importance now because, you don't want to burn yourself out. Right. And so I've been there before where it was just work. Right. And I felt burnt out. I was, dealing with tragedy really young. My father actually passed when I was in my 20s pursuing nursing school. And so it was about that time where I'm like, oh, I'm just working. It didn't stop to even, figure out, how to rebalance things. It's just, sometimes you just learn to just keep going. So I've been there before where I was burnt out and I said, and that was part of the travel. That was part of everything that I've done so far in my life, is saying, you know what? Okay, yes, I have things I want to achieve, But, you know, I need to be able to appreciate where I'm at too. You know, I can't just keep achieving and not taking time to actually enjoy, you know, the fruits of my labor. So it's really tough. What I've learned is that even if you don't know when you need to stop, even if you don't know, guess what's going to tell you? And you probably know, your body is going to tell you. So even if you don't know when, even if you haven't found a way to achieve that balance, your mind and your body eventually is going to tell you it's time to stop. And again, I reached the point before where my mind and my body said, no, it's time to switch gears. And again, I've had other times to where I thought I was done and I thought I couldn't keep going, like with the MBA. And when I say I was like done, couldn't write one more paper, I thought I was fully done. Whatever it was said, no, you're not. You're not done. And so I don't know where the energy came from. I went through 3 years, who knew, of a DNP and did really, really well in it. And then after that, my body said, you know what, you need to go take a couple vacations, you know, so it, you know, your body and your mind will tell you when it's time to say, you know what, we're good here. We've achieved this. You did a good job. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to tell yourself, job well done. Now it's time to take a moment and relax.
For the moment.
For the moment. For the moment. For the moment, yeah.
For the moment. Donna, I know. I see Donna listening. One thing I know about Donna, she's gonna the most serious question coming your way based on what you say. I hear it coming. Get ready.
Oh, I don't have a serious question. No. I just commend you, you know, I commend you for all your achievements. But I think most importantly is really realizing, and I'm quite sure you're still young, right? You're still a young person, and I'm quite, you know, and realizing at a younger age the importance of having that balance in your life. I commend you for realizing that, you know, sooner than later, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, than later, and where you have to realign yourself.
Thank you.
You know, balance. I recall years ago when I was a little bit younger. The thing was, I'd have people come to me and say, "You need balance. You need balance." And my thing, yeah, in the circus. That's where balance exists. Because, you know, when you're going and, you know, you have the energy that's going, right? You have this blinders on and you're just running from this to that. Yeah, balance serves you well in the circus when you're walking in those tightropes, right? But in reality, in real life, it's so important in everyday life, you know. Yeah. And I know when you're someone like both of you, actually, you know, you share many similarities. Because Donna is also a Jamaican, not just because she was born in Jamaica, but because of the amount of jobs. She's her work, her different positions and titles and name it, right? In the home and out the home and everywhere else in the corporate world, and as an entrepreneur, you know, she's doing it. And so I commend both of you because I'm Latoya, I'm just meeting you. You know, we've communicated some, but listening to your talk, and you know, it's very impressive, and really commend you for taking it on and doing it, and not just doing it. There's completion that you've taken on. You know, even when it's tough and challenging, you did your DNP, and I know what that is like. You know, to complete these things, those things, right? Can be challenging, can be tough. You know, to get to that next piece of your paper, to complete the next part. You know, and it can be very challenging. And sometimes the quit is on the mind, right? I'm done is on the mind, and just to come back and to do it and stay with it and get it done, that's a big deal. It's a big deal, and it shows a lot and speak about you, you know, who you are. And I know that, and I'll say the same about Donna. I'm going to switch it up a little bit because Donna, you have a new program talking about taking on more work. You have a new program coming up. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I do, but something came to mind while I was listening to you before we jump into that new program. That I wanted to ask Latoya, because I know that like a lot of people, like we're talking about that whole balance, right? And I know that a lot of us, we have multiple jobs, multiple, whether it's working inside of your home or whatever, we have a lot of multiple responsibilities. And many times it's hard to really prioritize, right? And then I think a lot of people going through that whole stress thing of you can't turn it off because you're doing so many different things and your brain is constantly working. My question for you now is, what advice would you have for someone who's, who they have all these different things that they're doing and now they can't shut that brain off? What advice do you have to give someone how to really turn that brain off, how to pause it, give that brain that rest, and kind of like recenter themselves? Yeah, because some people, I know some of our listeners, we're talking about this great stuff and everything, but some people, they may not know really how to do that or resources to help them to get to that point where they really need to shut their brain off for a moment to get that rest.
Sure.
And how important it is to rest your brain.
Great question. Just like your body needs rest, right, in order for it to be able to function the way it's supposed to, your mind is the same. And then, of course, everything is connected, right? The mind and the body. So think of your mind the same way you would your body. You give your body nourishment. You give your body rest. I know we don't all do 8 hours, but we try. And it's the same thing with your mind too. You need to do things that get you in a place to where you can lower your stress. So that could be sleep, but it could be anything that you enjoy. Maybe you want to go out and take a hike, right? A lot of times, even though, something is going on when you're, say, hiking, for an example, I did that when I was in Kennesaw, I loved it. Kennesaw has the mount. Well, I think it's called a mountain. I don't know. I'm from Florida. So I'm like, I don't know, but it was really nice. They have kind of the outdoors area and you kind of hike up. And even though there's things going on, believe it or not, you're centered, right? Because you're not in front of a screen, you're not in front of your phone. Hopefully you didn't bring it with you, left it in the car. But you're out there with fresh air, right? You have, the birds or the animals chirping, you smell, you're using your senses, so believe it or not, that can be a way to actually center yourself, quiet your mind and give your mind rest. It's still working, but you're giving it rest from constantly being in front of a screen and having that type of stimulation. But I would say there's one very simple thing that people can do, and sometimes it takes you practicing and to make it a habit, which would be just to write it down. So if you're someone who is juggling multiple priorities, you have a lot on your mind. I know it works for me. If I don't write it down, it doesn't exist. I'll tell you that right now. So if I don't write it down, it never existed. I won't be doing it because I will not remember anything because it's a lot going on. And so that's the way that I actually manage my stress level and I prioritize and keep myself organized. Pen and paper, pencil and paper, your tablet, however you want to do it, type it out, but take it from your mind and put it on something and release it. If you've ever heard of releasing, right? That's a way to release. So get a planner, whatever it is, whatever works for you, take it out of your mind, put it on a piece of paper or on your computer and forget about it, right? So it takes a moment to just, I take probably a few hours every week or so, and I kind of reorganize, my planner. I have it on the computer, so it's digital. I reorganize it, and guess what I do after that? If it's not written on there, it does not exist. So wow, I close it up. And when I say that my mind is free, my mind is free. The only time I'll know I have to do something, I'll just go back and say, okay, well, what am I doing this week? And I only worry about what I have to do for that given week that's coming up. There's no need to stress over something that's a month out. You know, why are we stressing over it? Just write it down, give yourself a deadline, a due date, revisit it when it's that time to revisit it. But why are you thinking about it now? If it's something that's not going to impact you right now and it's next month, right? So if you take it, that's very simple, right? Take what you're thinking about, write it down somewhere, put a date on it, close up your notebook and just go about your business, you know? Right. That's just the easiest way, I would say, to kind of release, you know, and organize yourself and prioritize so you're not stressed.
So you're working a week out, pretty much 7 days out, and that's what that's
It's like a month out.
Hey, believe it or not, I actually do like up to a year, believe it or not, but only the most important things.
Right.
I know I do. A week out, I would be like, oh my gosh, I know I have other things I have to do. So it wouldn't work for me. Yeah. I have a year. These are the goals for my year. Yeah.
But the highest priorities are the ones that are coming up in a week.
They're at the top.
But with so many competing interests, my goodness, you know, if as busy as you are, you know, that must be, you know, that would be so scary if you're just waiting a week to get it, because there's got to be some preliminary work done and so forth.
Right. I'm a planner. Yeah. And that's how I keep my stress levels down. I have my year. It may not be a lot, you know, maybe some travel over here and this over here, and that's it. But I write it down. So even if I have an idea, some type of random creative idea, I never keep anything in my mind. I just go straight to my notebook or whatever it is, write it down, put a timestamp on it, and then I'll revisit it when I have the time for it. But it just, I mean, when I say it's a stress relief, it makes sense. Simple, but it's, it
does.
Why carry it all here?
I can't. I would be a mess. It would be too much for me, too much stress. So,
I must practice that. That's something I must take into consideration. Yep.
I know I need to. Because I keep, like, my notebook is in my head.
Because that week goes by so fast, right?
Yeah.
Things to get done. Oh my goodness. So next. It's always next. And everything seems to be important, right?
Oh yeah. That's why you have to have your deadlines and prioritize. The other thing, I know you asked me, about the stress relief, I did want to add, after that, writing it down, meditation. So I wanted to add that in as well. It doesn't have to, again, for those that are religious, doesn't have to be meditation in the yoga sense. Meditation really is just being still. Meditation, believe it or not, can be listening to music. So some people love listening, whether, I know for me, I do a mix of things, but sometimes I'm in the mood to listen to like jazz music if I'm studying, anything. So that can be a form of meditation because it allows you to stay in the moment, right? And not think about anything else but that moment. You can listen to music, you can meditate if you're into that with yoga. Prayer is a form of meditation as well. So if that's what you're into, you can also use your prayer time as a time to center and relax your mind as well and give yourself rest and peace.
Right. And gardening, I've heard.
Yeah, it's true. It is true, actually.
Talking about stress relief.
Or it can be stress inducing, either or. It depends what type of project. It depends on the type of project you're doing.
Exactly. All right, that was powerful, Donna. Great question, because that's a big deal. You know, I did a piece. When do you know enough is enough? That was one of my daily insights, and we're talking about a lot of that stuff here. And I just pull it up as you're talking. You know, with the erosion of our quiet time, right? when that thing is slipping away, your quiet time is so important. It's your chance to unwind, to rewind, just to breathe, right? Simply take a breath, and that's what you're talking about. And then when that is consistently interrupted, you have a problem. When it's no longer your time. Your quiet time is supposed to be your time, right? Donna, you have any quiet time?
No.
You need to get
I asked that question specifically for myself.
So it said, when the thing you love to do most start or end with, I love to do this, but that's when you know you got problems. When that but jump in there, it's overwhelming. It's too much, but I love to do it. So what do?
Yeah.
Go to Latoya's yoga class.
That is true.
Because often we can't do it by ourselves on our own, right? You need something, because we're so programmed, right? And all three of us here are programmed to want to do the next thing, to get it done, and to get it done tomorrow. That's what we are, right? To get it done tomorrow. But we must learn that not every email. There's no requirement that we have to reply to every email immediately. It can wait. Most things can wait. Most things can wait. So let's talk a little bit about Today with Donna.
Okay, so yes, so we're gonna have the next addition to A Collision with Purpose will be where I will have a segment named Today with Donna, and basically it will be surrounding how did you get here? How did you get here? So it will be where I'll be having conversations with individuals. Could be like something in a setting like this where I may have conversation with someone and we just speak about how did you get to where you are currently, right, in your current state of life. And it could just be as simple as in my day-to-day interaction with anyone out in the community, whether it's our mechanics that's working, how do you get to where you are? It could be even with someone who is, not living in a home, someone who's on the corner of the street. How did you get here? Because everyone has a story in their life. And it's my goal is to kind of bring awareness as well to anyone who's watching, to our audiences, is to bring awareness where people can see that, just like what we were saying, with our life may start at one point, and what we think or what we plan for it to be, so many different things can change, right? It can take different roads, different avenues, not necessarily by anything that we do, right? Just life circumstances, but there is a destination. You're going to get somewhere. And really, how did you get to that point in your life? And, is this your happy place? Is it your happy place? Is it where you really want to be? And if it's not, then what are you going to do about it to change it? So that's kind of like what Today with Donna and How Did You Get Here will be, surrounded. So I'm kind of excited about it to see how it's going to flourish. It's kind of in my head. It's in my head. So it's going to be great to see how that whole show unfolds.
I like the concept. I like that it will allow the individual to become introspective, to look within. Because a lot of times we end up in a place and we have no idea what happened. Yet it was something we did. Right? So it's almost like retracing your steps, right?
Right.
Yeah, and what a way to make course correction to know where you went wrong. So I think that's a very powerful concept that you're gonna implement, and I think it will not just make a difference for the person that you're having a conversation with, but also those of us who can learn from that person's situation. So great stuff, Donna. I can't wait for you to kick it off, to get it out there. I can tell you one person you can start with, and she's on the platform today. How did she get here? And I know she's searching. One of the first things she brought up to me was some ancestor stuff. So I know she's searching. When we met the platform, that was one of the things that came out. So she's searching. So and in a good way, yeah, because she's curious, and that's why she's such an achiever.
Right.
She's not like some people who have lost their sense of curiosity, and it seems as if the more she achieved, the more curious she is. So and that's a good thing, because that's what with a lot of us, me, older folks, younger folks, we have lost our sense of curiosity. Yeah, and like in the book that you wrote, that your book, Little London and Brown, that's where curiosity lives, right? And then as you get older, that thing sort of get dull, and you get caught up in the world and life, and you lose your sense of curiosity, and then you lose your sense of self as well, unfortunately. So we need to become more curious, especially as you get older.
Right.
Yeah. To bring it back, repurpose yourself and bring it back. Yes. So, yeah. So, look at the time. My goodness, it's 1.5 went by. What a great conversation, because we have such a person. She's such a what's the right word? I don't want to mess with a conversationalist on with us. Is that the right word?
That's a word.
We have one in our midst today. She is certainly that person, and what a great conversation we're having. But Donna, you always tell me that nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
Is that really so, though?
Well, you can make it last forever if you choose to.
So Latoya, man, do you have anything else you'd like to say before you get to make your closing argument? Is there anything else that you didn't say that you would like to say before you get to a closing argument?
Oh, wow. Well, I'd like to say, I'll end with this. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your platform. Again, it's by chance, right, that we met. And I guess more to come on that. Donna will be trying to figure out if we're related to each other. So that is next on my list. So I am curious. But yeah, I just really appreciate you inviting me onto the platform. Getting to learn about you and Donna and your organization and what you're doing out there. It's extremely inspiring. And, this community that you've built, you talked a lot about community. You brought that up, and it is really important. And I think that's one of the themes, even with some of the ventures that I'm working on, is, community and connection, but the right community and the right connection, that helps you thrive and get to the next level, and supports you in whatever you're trying to do next. So, yeah, I really just appreciate the conversation with you two and learning a little bit more about you all as well. And for everyone out there that's watching, take care of yourself. Really important. Find the balance, find the purpose, and take care of yourself, and make sure, you're nourishing your mind, your body, and your spirit. Wow.
What a great advice. Take care of yourself. And, I that is so important. And I just want to add a little bit to that as you're taking care of yourself, look to your right and look to your left. Look in your family and those close to you. A lot of times we're out there and we're pushing real hard to do big stuff out there. But there's so many friends and families and close to you that probably need your support as well, even more so. So take care of yourself, but look to your left and look to your right. And just stretch your hands out, both of them, and ask, is there anything I can do for you today? What can I do for you? Because it's so important. We've had some experiences with that in recent times because we're so busy doing the work we do. We forget that we have people next to us as well. So anyway, Donna, what do you have to say?
Well, definitely, Latoya, it's been a pleasure having you join us this evening. And, we thank you for joining us and sharing your journey with us. And I hope that the audience definitely have been fulfilled in the information that they received. Even though, we spoke about you, but you also gave very great information and about taking care of yourself, right? And balancing yourself. And I think with what a great way to actually really, to be honest with you, to end our show for April, because April, I believe, was the month of wellness and health and everything that wraps around that. So, this is a great way to end our show, letting our audience know that it is so important that while we're busy doing all these different things, it's important to definitely, rebalance yourself. And I'm happy that you also gave our audience the information in the sense of meditation can be so many different things, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be the traditional, what we think, yoga or whatever it is, but it could be so many different things that you use to kind of like recenter yourself. So that was great information to share. And we would love to have you back. And I'm definitely would love to have you back. And I know that we spoke earlier about our nonprofit walkathon that will be coming up that we're meeting about tomorrow in the making. However, I am definitely going to invite you the morning of walkathon for you to come out and give us some tidbits of stretching and all that good stuff, breathing, and get us ready and prep for walking.
All right. Sounds good.
So you will definitely be hearing more about that.
Right. So Donna, I'll close out tonight. All right.
Sure.
And I want to say to Latoya, and I don't want to repeat what Donna said, except to say I really appreciate you and so grateful for you to come on and share with us. What you shared with us tonight was, you gave us some serious things to think about, and our health and everything, and just to observe just through your conversation and listen to you how you have lived your life. And I know it was not always easy. Couldn't have. It couldn't have been easy. And you talk about your mom and such a powerful person, and clearly you're like your mother. Yeah, and I know she'll be so proud of you. She is proud of you. I hope she's watching. We'll get to see and hear you talk about her the way you did, because clearly she is a powerful person. You've really copied her very well. You're doing exactly what she wants you to do, and you're doing it. So, big stuff. Really admire the work you're doing. I appreciate you for all that you're doing and what you're doing for you, and you wanting to make a difference out there as well. So thanks again. And Donna said, this is a home for you. Anytime you want to come on, please come on. If you want to be a guest host and just join us and just, add value to what we're doing, because you're all about value. We appreciate that. So thanks a lot for coming on.
And thank you.
All right. So as we close tonight, I'm going to read something, as we close tonight on In the Spotlight, I want to leave our listeners with a thought that I hope will resonate deeply in each of your hearts, especially for those of you who are questioning your worth and your place in your family and in your community. I want you to know that you are invaluable, not just for what you produce or your success or failures, but for the essence of who you are. Each of you brings a unique light to the world that no one else can shine. It's your light. It is easy to feel lost in the shuffle sometimes, like another face in the crowd. But I want you to remember that every great story on this earth is made up of individuals who dare to believe that they make a difference or can make a difference. You know, your presence is not just noticed, it should be celebrated. Your contributions, no matter how big or small, are not just appreciated. They're crucial to the fabric of your family and your community. You are not just a piece of a puzzle, you are the puzzle. Without you, your family and community will not be complete. So as we part ways tonight, I want to encourage you to step into your community, into your family, not with trepidation, but with the confidence of someone who knows their worth. I want you to reach out, engage, and let your light be seen and felt. When you shine, you invite others to do the same, and together, we can light up the darkest corners of our family and our community. So thanks for sharing your time with us tonight on In the Spotlight. And remember, this is not just a show, it is a community. You are an essential part of this community. So continue to shine brightly, boldly, and always remember you're exactly where you need to be, wherever you are. And you're irreplaceable. You're valid. So we thank you. So say good night. Until we meet again next Monday. Blessings always.
Good night, everyone.
All right. So we'll just stand back. All right, Donna? We'll